Hey guys, Razorblade Mango here, and today I wanted to just provide some, maybe not updated, but more short, concrete, streamlined thoughts on all of the Silent Hill news that we got a few weeks ago. Now that I've had some time to marinate on it and do a little bit more research beyond my gut reactions to the announcements at that Silent Hill transmission event that happened a few weeks ago. How do I start with this? So, I guess my thoughts now on it are... I guess it depends on the game that I'm talking about, because I have a slight variety of emotions regarding each different project that they have in the works, that we know of, at least, that they publicly announced. But the main through line of concern that I have through all the games that they've announced is that Konami seems to be going back to what I thought the issue was during the early 2010s, late 2000s era of Silent Hill, is that Konami is not willing to put in the all-in bet on getting the most competent, well-known, talented staff of people on board to create a Silent Hill game. And I don't mean this as a direct insult to the likes of, Bloober or No Code or that team that's doing Silent Hill F. One of the running problems with Konami during the late 2000s, early 2010s is that more often than not, they always went with an unproven team to create new entries in particularly in Silent Hill, that they didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to get on board for the project. And that seems to be carrying over with this new run of Silent Hill games, where, obviously the most well-known out of all of these teams is Bloober Team. No question about it. Bloober Team is, as far as, a known studio, is on, like, two different levels above the likes of No Code and the team that's doing Silent Hill F, which is Neobards Entertainment. Like, I didn't even know who the hell Neobards was until who they were until Silent Hill F got announced. So, but even so, Bloober Team, and I'm just gonna say it, they're a budget studio. They are not a studio that is well known for crafting high quality AAA horror games. They're just not. They make a lot of these janky, flawed horror games that a lot of the time that don't run very well, that have performance issues, that are buggy in some areas, that feel like they are hamstrung by limitations or by the lack of talent on the team. And this is where I will specifically get into my criticism about Bloober Team in general. So I guess I'll divide this into, I want to talk about Silent Hill 2, I want to talk about Silent Hill Townfall, which is a stupid name, and then Silent Hill F. So let's start with Silent Hill 2 Remake, which this is the one that I have the most skepticism about. And yes, it does purely come down to the fact that Bloober Team is doing this. If it was a different team that was more well known for horror, like for example, if they had gotten the team behind Visage, which is a game that I've always wanted to try out because I've heard nothing but really good things about it, that seems to take that PT inspiration on its shoulder and wear that on its sleeve with Visage, I think I would be okay with them doing a maybe, I don't know about a Silent Hill 2 remake, but a new Silent Hill game, which I think that could be even better. And I also would be more optimistic if it was an original Silent Hill game. But for Bloober to go from the likes of Layers of Fear and Blair Witch, and particularly The Medium, and then be given basically the keys to the kingdom to remake one of the most beloved iconic horror games ever made, I personally just don't see that buildup of expertise and trust and quality that they would be given this great honor, that they deserve it. I just don't personally see it. They're not a team like Blue Point, the really talented team that remade, Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls, which Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls are like, those two games are games that's like, hey, you need to take the utmost care remastering these, remaking these, and doing these like really well. Like, you have to. And Sony did not cheapen out with that. They got a team that has a big pedigree of working with popular established franchises and giving them the love and attention that they deserve. And then finally, after all these years of remastering these different games, including Shadow of the Colossus for PS3, then Sony were like, okay, we think it's time that you remade Shadow of the Colossus, where you remade Demon Souls. And it's like, oh, and that there's that buildup of trust between the audience, the fans, and then, for the most part, and then the team itself. There's that unspoken trust that has built up over the years, that goodwill. I don't see that with Bloober Team, and it's maybe not its audience, because it definitely has its fans, and I don't want to knock them, but I guess the overall, the more hardcore fans of Silent Hill, the more like knowing fans of Silent Hill that don't just see, the people that don't just see Silent Hill 2, the name, and automatically get excited. Like, I'm not one of these people that automatically sees Silent Hill 2 and I go, oh my god, it's Silent Hill, I know that name, I'm excited. It's like, no. So the thing is, I do think Bloober Team could potentially pull this off, given that they have a big leash on them in the form of somebody who religiously knows Silent Hill 2, who understands its subtleties, understands that it absolutely needs to be, it needs to be preserve the original story as much as it can. I don't mind them per se like rebuilding the gameplay, like that doesn't bother me, that even though it is a shame that we're going to be losing the fixed camera angles, because I think that is one of the most effective parts of the original Silent Hill 2. But I think that, you're making it for a modern audience. You're going to be selling this as like a big PS5 console exclusive. I mean, sure, going with the over-the-shoulder camera angle, I don't personally think it's a big deal. But the thing that worries me with Silent Hill 2 is the handling of its themes and its story. That's the thing that worries me, because Bloober is not particularly well known for its subtlety or its sensitive handling of subjects, like really dark, disturbing subject matter. Bloober Team has all the subtlety, their storytelling has all the subtlety of a brick to the face. The fact that I take umbrage with Bloober Team being given this project mainly stems with how they did The Medium, which with The Medium, it was so close. Like I think in the opening third of it, I thought to myself, okay, this team understands the language of Silent Hill, because it's clear that that's what they're going for. It's very clear that that's what they're going for, the Silent Hill influence with the medium. And I think as far as atmosphere and art design, and then they have the fixed camera angle in certain bits with the medium, I thought that was well done. There's even a bit in the beginning of the medium that I really like, that has to do with the main character, and I hope I'm remembering this right, where the main character has to solve this pretty simple puzzle of how to take her recently deceased foster dad's body down to the morgue to then put it in the incinerator. And all the while that she's doing this, it's like she can see the ghost of her foster father kind of like gently guiding her. And it's this really fucked up, sad moment where this character has to take their beloved relative's dead body to the crematorium while they can still hear them and see them like as a ghost. And it's really creepy, and it's really sad. And that, to me, I think that is the one time in the medium that they really struck that great balance. This is what I really like about Silent Hill, where it is dark, it's disturbing, it's grotesque at some points, but it's also sad. It's melancholic. There's a lot of emotional moments in Silent Hill, not just 2, in 3 as well. And, you know, I think Bloober Team could do it if they just stuck to the script. But I just don't have a good feeling that they're going to do that. Like, they're going to start adding in their own original material, their own original dialogue, and I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to start changing and fucking around with the original meaning and intent of certain scenes, and that's just going to drive me crazy. Because I would have significantly less of a problem with this remake if everyone could play the original Silent Hill 2 in an acceptable state. For maybe potentially all the issues that I could have with Resident Evil 4 Remake, and I might have them in the end, I'm not going to be too broken up about it, because you can play RE4 literally everywhere on the planet. Easily. Like, I have it on disc on PS4. I could easily go onto the PS5, PlayStation Store and buy it. No problem. It's in a wonderful state. You can play it on the fucking Nintendo Switch. You can play it on PC, play it on Xbox. It's everywhere. Capcom, people make fun of Capcom for re-releasing their games a lot, especially Resident Evil. But at least Capcom is doing their damnedest to ensure that the original games are playable in acceptable states. And Konami in that area has utterly failed outside of the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which is very good because, again, you got Bluepoint doing it. They've gotten a little bit better in recent years with, bringing the old Castlevania games. They did that TMNT thing. So as far as like the 2D stuff, they're good in that area. 3D, not really. They're not very good at that. They're really terrible at it when it comes to Silent Hill, at least. So that's really my concern with Silent Hill 2 remake. I hope it's good. I'm wishing Bloober Team the best of luck, but after the medium, I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to do this correctly. So the second one that I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to talk about it as anywhere near as lengthy as Silent Hill 2 because we don't really know a whole lot about it. And that's this Silent Hill Townfall from this company called No Code, with the help of Annapurna Interactive, which this was actually one of the more interesting things that they showed off, but I wish they had shown more instead of just this dumb teaser trailer that's just like okay, like it's just some staticky noise on a radio and some people talking. It's like, okay, you know, whatever. But I've heard good things about the other games that they've done. The ones that they did with Devolver Digital, like they did Stories Untold, which I've heard is good. They did Observation, which I've heard is good. I'm curious to check them out. But again, it's a company that it's a budget company to hire for a Silent Hill game. It's not a well-known, well-established indie developer. With the help of Annapurna Interactive, with them being there, that gives me a little bit more confidence that it'll be good. But I just don't know about No Code. We'll see. If it's like a smaller scale Silent Hill, if it's like, for example, a text-based Silent Hill game or a short little like point and click kind of thing, but that could be fine. But it's we'll see. It's just No Code. I had to like research who they are, and I was like, okay, they're Konami kind of cheaping out again with another like Western studio or European studio. And the last game I wanted to talk about is this Silent Hill F, which this was by far the most interesting thing that they showed off during the transmission. I mean, this thing looks, at least as far as the trailer, which I know the trailer, it's a CGI thing. It's more of an atmosphere piece. It's not going to be what the game maybe is like, but this thing, like, holy shit. It apparently this is going to be a mainline title, and it's going to be the first mainline title in a long time, very long time. And it's being developed by Neobards Entertainment, who are mostly known with working with Capcom on remastering some of their games for, I think, for next gen. Like they remastered RE7, RE2 remake, and RE3 remake for current gen consoles. And then they worked on that Resident Evil Reverse multiplayer mode for Capcom, which okay. I don't know why Konami went with them. I don't get it. It's like, okay. I Silent Hill F, this thing is, I'm concerned about it as far as the developer behind it. But what interests me about it is that it's being written by Ryukishi 07, who I will admit I was not familiar with this person until Silent Hill F. And I saw a lot of people get really excited by this person being involved as the writer. And I did my research, and apparently this guy is really well known for these visual novels that focus on like horror, psychological horror, murder mysteries, science fiction, and I've heard really good things about his work. So I am excited to see what this guy can bring to Silent Hill F. And that trailer, to me, that what I mentioned earlier with Bloober Team, where I really like in Silent Hill, I really like that balance between sad and creepy. And that seems to be that they nailed that in that one trailer, what I look for in Silent Hill, where it's sad, it's like it's got that rusty, grimy vibe to it, and then it has this like almost Junji Ito looking body horror thing with the trypophobia, where it's like these like blood flowers growing out of this girl, and then she's crying, and then her face just peels off and falls off. It's that kind of shit is so my thing. That kind of shit is so creepy and weird that I loved it. I loved this trailer. Even if the game turns out to be absolute shit in the end, I'll still go back and watch this trailer because I love it. But I also like that it's set in 1960s rural Japan, It's not set in Silent Hill itself, which is interesting. So I'm this is easily the one that I'm the most interested in checking out, because at least from that trailer, if the final product is going for the same vibe as that trailer, then I'm all in. Like that shit looks fucking cool. But we'll see. It's yet again, it's another case of Konami cheapening out and getting a studio that is not a well-established, well-known, respected horror developer. They're a port developer. They made a multiplayer mode for RE Village. That would not be my first, 6th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 14th, 50th choice to make a Silent Hill game. I can think of like probably 50 other developers that would be a better choice, or a more like, oh, that makes sense kind of choice in my own little like dream world. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say about Silent Hill. I am, we've all, a lot of people like me that have been excited for Silent Hill to come back. It's a strange feeling at this point, because we're now at this stage where we know what Konami's future is for Silent Hill. It's literally like the fog has been lifted on the pathway through this franchise, and we can see in the future what it is, what it's going to be for the most part. And personally, I'm interested to see where it goes, but I'm not very excited beyond certain little pockets of things like Silent Hill F, the next mainline game, which God knows when that's gonna come out. That thing probably won't come out until the very end of this console cycle, or maybe in the beginning of the next one. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it's kind of like this be careful what you wish for situation, where it's like, hey Konami, release Silent Hill, do some more things in Silent Hill. And now that they've done it, I'm like, maybe don't do more Silent Hill if this is who you're gonna give it to. But it's frustrating, because we could have lived in a reality in a time. There's somewhere out there in the ethers of the universe, there is an alternate reality where the shit between Konami and Kojima did not heat up, and we still can play PT on the PlayStation, and we can still, we might be on the cusp of getting Silent Hills, or maybe we already got Silent Hills and it's great from Kojima. But we live in the worst timeline where Bloober Team gets Silent Hill 2 remake, and all these like unknown, unproven studios are once again being given the keys to the kingdom with Silent Hill. Yay. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.